Hi everyone, on this episode we're going to talk about where we stand in terms of trust in the financial services industry. We're also going to talk about how do we achieve greatness, and then I'm going to share a story about some crayons. So make sure that you pay attention to winning strategies. Today our industry has the most distrust that we've ever seen. Unfortunately, that really hasn't changed over the last 4 or 5 years. In a recent survey by Edelman and Company, surveyed 28 different companies over 15 different industries. And the financial services industry came in dead last in terms of trust for the last 4 years. Now, I think that there are some things that we can work on in order to really improve that. The first of that is communication. We talk a lot about our credentials and our knowledge, but what we really have to work on is our conversations, how we communicate the peace of mind and the things that our retirement products actually do. There's a lot of different other things that we can really focus in on. First of that is staying with a high level of integrity. I wrote a book called Free Throws for Financial Professionals. I talk about the integrity that Coach Knight had. He was the winningest basketball coach in Division I history when he retired. He had 3 national championships, an NIT championship, multiple conference championships, but at the same time, he had a 98% graduation rate. At the time of his retirement, the NCAA average was only 47%. So he really worked in the best interest of his student athletes. And I think that if we shape our businesses to be concentrated on our clients the same way that Coach Knight concentrated on his student athletes, our level of trust and our level of integrity will go up dramatically. The second thing that I want to talk about is self-awareness. I write a great story about winning our national championship, and the player that provided the assist to Keith Smart was quoted by Coach Knight as saying that that was the greatest play he'd ever seen a kid make. And what's important about that is that Daryl Thomas would not have made that same play as a freshman. He would have tried to go up and get a shot blocked or turn the ball over. Instead, he calmly turned around, found Keith Smart, and shoveled a pass for an easy 15-foot shot. The key here is that we have to be self-aware of our limitations, whether that's our business model, that is assets under management, or our knowledge base about what annuities can do for clients. It's really important that we're self-aware of our strengths, but also self-aware of our weaknesses so that we can shift that weakness to somebody that has a specialty in annuities or retirement income planning that can really improve the probability of success for clients. So your winning strategy is to make sure that you have your client's best interest in the front of your mind 100% of the time, but you're also very self-aware of your limitations so that you can make sure that you get your clients in a best position to win. Recently, I was invited by a local university to come to one of their breakfast meetings where they have guest speakers. This particular speaker was a former member of the Swiss Guard. If you're a member of the Swiss Guard, you're actually protecting the Pope. And he told some great stories about Pope John Paul II. However, what was more meaningful for me was the fact of an interaction that he had with his young son. After being a part of the Swiss Guard, he was a very successful businessman in technology and several other startups and businesses. He would obviously travel a lot, much like what I do. However, one time when he was coming home, he had forgotten to bring back a gift for his son. So he stopped by a local store, got whatever he could, and it happened to be a box of crayons. He brought it back to his son, and his son was so happy that he had a box of crayons. He asked, "Daddy, what do you want me to draw?" And then Dad said, "Well, whatever you want to draw." And then, "Well, what color do you want something in?" And he goes, "Well, whatever color that you want to choose." And what this speaker did is analogize all the different tools that we have. And when you think about it from a financial planning standpoint, we have an unbelievable, almost an unlimited amount of box of crayons to use with our clients. So many times we just concentrate on the black or the yellow or the reds. We don't look at all the other variations that we have in the box of crayons. So I'm going to challenge you today to think about pulling out all of the box of crayons and using all of your colors and considering all the colors when you're talking with your clients about how different things, especially retirement income products, can improve the probability of success. So your winning strategy today is think of your next client and use the tools of like a box of crayons and utilize all the colors in the rainbow in order to make sure that they have a higher probability of success. As many of you know, I do not sleep when I travel, and I travel over 100,000 miles for Ash Brokerage. A lot of times when I'm traveling, I will just go ahead and type out a blog, work on email, do something productive. But this most recent trip, I was just really tired, and so I really couldn't concentrate. So I started taking a look at the movies that were on the plane, and I found one that seemed of interest called In Search of Greatness. It featured interviews with Jerry Rice and Wayne Gretzky. And they were talking to those two, as well as some professors, about what made them great in their particular sport. And surprisingly, both of them said that they weren't the fastest on the ice or the football field, that they didn't possess the greatest skills. In fact, during the combine, Jerry Rice did not test out very well. However, they had something that was attractive to their coaches and to their respective franchises. And then they ultimately became one of the greatest athletes in their chosen profession. What they talked about is that growing up, they had a really good base of different athleticisms. They talked about being involved in baseball. They talked about running track, and that they had a broad base of athletic endeavors. And it wasn't until Jerry Rice's junior year in high school that he really started to concentrate. And Wayne Gretzky made a great point. He said today kids get started really young in the 4th or 5th grade, and they're concentrating on one sport. And they go to camps and they work on small twitch muscles to better themselves for just 1/100th of a point in a 40-yard dash. But they lose the creativity around learning different things in different sports. And I would argue that that is exactly where we are in our industry today. For the last 15 to 20 years, we have been told that we need to gather assets and we need to manage wealth and we need to have a recurring source of income. Today, we lack the creativity to have a holistic plan. I would encourage everyone to take a step back on your practice and think about what made Wayne Gretzky and Jerry Rice so great, and that is their creativity. It's not about returns. It's not about fees and prices. It's about giving peace of mind to your clients and making sure that they do not run out of income during their retirement. And the only way that you can do that is to look at different solutions, different products, and be creative with your clients' assets. So your winning strategy is to search out for your greatness for your clients. Make sure that you're looking at all the different aspects of your clients' assets and be creative with them to meet their goals. We talk a lot about making sure that you use different tools, and the reason for that is that there's a lot of different risk when you're talking about longevity and retirement income planning. Today, our savings rate continues to be very, very low. It's somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 5.5%. If you take a look at the generation before us, it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 18 to 20%. The end result here is that the average trailing baby boomer just has a little bit over $130,000 saved for retirement. And a trailing baby boomer is someone here in America that's defined between the ages of 50 and 59, near retirees. That's not a lot of money considering recent studies have indicated that it may take as much as $700,000 with medical costs in order to have a successful retirement. At the end of the day, we have to change the way that we save money through 401ks, through automatic contributions and those types of things. The second thing that's affecting retirement is the misuse of Social Security. Everyone talks about the financial security of Social Security, but the reality is that if there's $1 in tax revenue, Social Security will pay out. Maybe not be as much as the person is expecting, but they will get somewhere in the neighborhood of 75 to 77% of their payout. The real issue is that we have too many Americans taking Social Security early and not waiting until the age of 70. That can make as much as a 77% difference in the amount of money a person receives from Social Security, and that can be a significant difference for many middle Americans. We also have a lot of concerns with the loss of guaranteed income through defined benefit plans. More and more companies are taking their retirement plans off of the books because of increasing cost. The cost of just administering a defined benefit plan will increase by 36% over the next 2 or 3 years, and there's legislation to make that even more expensive in this congressional era. The final thing here is longevity. You could have any type of long-term care event, whether you are at home or whether you are in a facility, and it will devastate any type of savings, especially if you have a razor-thin amount of savings like we do here in America. The end result here is that this financial planning community is going to be asked to generate more income for longer periods of time with the least amount of assets than we've ever been asked to do before, and that situation will haunt our industry for decades to come. Therefore, we need to think, we need to act, and we need to get our clients to think and act differently than they've ever had to before. So your winning strategy is to recognize the changing demographics and the problems with retirement income planning, and make sure that you get your clients to act differently for their successful retirement. Thanks for watching this episode of Winning Strategies. For more information on retirement sales ideas, connect with me on LinkedIn, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to the Ash Brokerage YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.